Imagine it's a cold day just right after a bad blizzard, and you're rubbing your hands together by a fire. You don't know where you are. You're just really cold, but the fire, the warmth is making you remember what home feels like. Then all of a sudden somebody screams at you, "Wake up! Put your hands on the table now!" You put your hands on the table. They look at you and they start ripping out your fingernails with pliers. Well, that sounds crazy, but it's all fiction because we can only truly imagine that pain. The reality is we'll never physically feel it, or at least I hope none of you will, or myself. The truth is we do inflict that pain onto beloved feline creatures. And I say that because they don't have fingernails, they have paws and claws. So how do we do this? We declaw them. So declawing cats should be banned by all ethical veterinarians or moral people. And I believe so by the 8th Amendment. Let's say no cruel or unusual punishment, and that is a punishment, and you'll see. So first I'm going to tell you a little anecdote story from my childhood, then bring in some ethical views from a professional, then yet another professional is going to explain how what some people believe is a solution, but I see as a problem, actually causes more problems for the owner and the cat itself. So then I'll actually dip into the wrong side, is what I would say, and see how this is actually a serious surgery for cats and overall kind of both the human as well. So first, I've always grown up with cats my whole life. Since I was a baby, I don't really remember their names, but then I had Snowy and Vanessa. Snowy was a white cat, and he was an indoor-outdoor cat, and we got him declawed at some point in time, and later in life, he got bit by a snake when he was outside, and it was kind of sad to see him in the cone with the chubby cheeks, like I am with my wisdom teeth out. But anyways, he was okay from the vet and everything, so nothing too bad. But the truth is maybe if Snowy didn't have his claws, did have actual claws, he could have, been able to protect himself. So now that you've heard from me, a not so professional, let's hear from some real people on why declawing cats is a cruel punishment and should not be allowed at all. So this professional, Stephen K., don't know how to pronounce his last name, talks mainly about the ethical viewpoint on this and then kind of brings in some things about how it is bad for a cat. So overall, the procedure is very just invasive. It's not good for the cat, and it can lead to many complications which affect the cat's daily life, which can lead to just bad things for them, and nobody wants that. And why would you want to pay for that? You're paying to keep the cat alive, so why should you pay to harm it? And the only time we should be doing this is for medical research, and that how to properly maybe better it so we can do this. But the reason why I'm bringing in an ethical viewpoint on this is because it's important to understand that declawing cats is made by humans. We accept this, and that's a sign of torture. We're paying for this, and that's terrible for cats and terrible for society. We don't allow dog fighting, so why should we allow secretive mischief, torture for an animal? And you'll see why I said secretive and mischief. So from a moral and philosophical standpoint, you should now see why declawing cats is bad, but that's not the only problem actually contributing to this whole situation. So some other 3 groups of professionals came together and they did a study and found that declawing cats actually causes more problems for the cats. So they used 274 cats, half declawed, half normal clawed, and the declawed cats had a decrease in health and well-being. They groomed themselves too much or too little, they urinated outside of the litter box, they became more aggressive, and they just had chronic back pain. They just overall were not how they once were. So while many think that declawing their cat solves all their problems, it's actually creating more for you, because who wants to clean up pee that's not supposed to be on the floor? Not me. Maybe some will, but it doesn't. So 2 professionals have said it bluntly that it's not okay to be declawing cats. However, I do see where some people are coming from, considering my mom did it in the past. Perspectives change. I see why people do it. But it's not okay to be torturing animals. We should stop it. So Another professional deems that it is still unethical, but they see like why it's necessary. At first, these two women explain the history and the dynamic between felines and humans, and it makes sense because we always saw them as like companions, but they were also like workers for us, and we were workers to them. We saw them as gods. Like, it's kind of an equal, unequal balance depending upon how you look at it. And they brought that into the argument on why like declawing cats is bad because like of how long the history goes. Like, they would never do that to us. We respected them, so why are we not doing that now? And overall, the act is distasteful, but they understand that, like, coming from it, like, not coming from it, but coming from the viewpoint of understanding why you declaw your cats, it's to better, at some believe it is bettering their health because they need to stop doing this. But the thing is that it's not necessary because in the long run, it's not fair to the animal, and there's so many more alternatives to declawing a cat. To protect your couch, buy a couch cover, put more scratching posts in your house. So all the data has been collected from both sides, and now the real reason is why I even told this horrid situation, I guess, in hopes that you understand my point. So in conclusion, I did tell you a personal story of my cat who maybe could have not gotten bit by a snake. And then I brought on an ethical argument followed by another reason on why declawing cats actually causes more problems. And then ended it with like a slight rebuttal, but even though they still overall agree it's not good. And I just want you to know that we all turned off those ads that we saw with malnourished animals, but we can't turn off this ad. This is the truth.